Hey, I'm Harry Mays. Well, Brandon Graham is out of retirement. What next? We give Jason Kelsey a call?
Well, BG is back, but can he play? And most importantly, can he help?
Fair enough. And A.J. Brown at it again. Apparently 2 touchdowns wasn't enough. All that and more in this edition of Locked On Eagles Squad Show.
Fly, Eagles, fly. It's the Eagles Squad. Everything Philadelphia Eagles every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the city of brotherly love. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Eagles Squad Show starting now.
And welcome into Locked On Eagles Squad Show. Harry Mays, Jason Martinez, Mark Farzetta with you. And I also want to say, Locked On Luigi, Louis DiBiase set to join us hopefully next week. The return of the Squad Show. Oh!
That'd be good to have him back. Can I start out the Squad Show with a statement? Because last week, at the end of our midweek Squad Show, we all picked the Eagles. And I want to make an admission real quick. We did it because we did it right after I had said I got my results from my scans and I was cancer-free. And we wanted to keep the positivity going. I didn't believe the Eagles were going to win this weekend.
Neither did I.
We kept the positivity going at that occasion. But I didn't believe the Eagles would win this weekend in Minnesota.
Okay, well, I want to make myself very clear. My pick of the Eagles had nothing to do with your positive scans.
Okay. Good. No, that's good.
All right.
I did it. I didn't want to ruin the momentum of the positive feeling.
Right. Okay.
You know me, Captain Happy.
Exactly.
That I am. I didn't want to ruin the moment because Mark said we're standing on such a positive note, so I didn't want to be Debbie Downer.
Right.
You know, and then all of a sudden my cancer returns next week because of that. So, but I didn't believe they would win. They went into Minnesota, and a little thanks to Carson Wentz, they come out of Minnesota with a dub.
Well,
and a conference win.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is the cure for every 2-game losing streak.
Yes.
You know, and I just
put
put
a treatment plan, Harry.
Right, I just put a bet in on this week's game -7.5. I took the Eagles; they're going to roll.
All right,
down to 7.5. Didn't I say 8.5 at post game? And you were like rolling your eyes at me. It was a 10.5.
That's because I saw some look ahead line on an app, the Yahoo app, that said 10.5.
Yeah, that
was before the Giant game ended, and that Giant game was unbelievable last Sunday.
How about that team being fun to watch all of a sudden?
Jeez.
And you know what? Let me also say that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers.
Right after, man.
Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the FanDuel app. And with that, Jason, still very excited about your cancer-free, all that. Love it. Love to hear that last
better
week.
Every day, boys. That's why I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Good. And then, Harry, I'm glad that you liked the Eagles last week against the Vikings because I certainly thought that they were going to need a little bit more time, even more so than the mini bye we all talked about to right the ship and all their issues. But, Carson Wentz definitely not that good. So he helped the Eagles' cause. Also, having Jalen Carter play in this game, I think, also was a wee bit of a factor there.
And Quinyon Mitchell. And
Quinyon being out there.
Yep.
And staying out there, by the way. We all know how fickle hamstrings can be. But we're all feeling good. Let me ruin it. As a matter of fact, I don't want to ruin it, but let's let A.J. Brown ruin it, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. So A.J. Brown, if you haven't seen this yet, it came out yesterday. A.J. Brown, after a 1-2 touchdown game, after a 100-plus yard game, and after your quarterback has a perfect passer rating, he decides to take to social media and post this. Using me, but not using me.
Yes.
I don't get it.
And that was on Instagram. And if you click to the second page of the end of that post, there was a video, a TikTok video, I believe, of a trainer from North Jersey that he is buddies with, who appeared to be very angry in a gym with a gigantic chain around his neck. I don't know if you happen to see.
They love using the chain.
It was curse laden, so we couldn't have played it. I mean, but the guy's very angry.
Yeah.
He's crossing streams with different social channels there, Harry. That's a violation.
I know.
So is his TikTok now going to get hacked? Is his Instagram now going to get hacked? Is that the thing that we're doing here?
I can't follow all this Blue Sky and
Yeah, it's just too much.
So he put this out there. That's a kind of, it's a famous gym to people in that kind of hardcore training world. Like I know somebody who goes to that gym.
Is it like a cross training kind of thing?
It makes CrossFit cross training stuff look like it's for babies.
Okay.
Like it's absolutely insane. It's torture.
Extreme and unconventional.
To any normal human that even loves to work out, they look at that and be like, "That's crazy. Like, you guys are crazy."
Yeah.
Are they trying to get information from you? Do you know where secret documents are? Like, it's the craziest thing. So he did that in the offseason. He went up there to North Jersey, I think a handful of times, maybe. I don't know if it was a regular thing, but I know at least went a couple times, and put in those hardcore workouts. But what bothers me is with A.J. Brown, people are always going to assume, I'm not even going to say the worst, but the negative. And when you put it out there, using me but not using me,
yeah,
game where they clearly used you, and your quarterback hadn't been on the same page even in his first 100-yard game of the season, to be on the same page, to be simpatico, not just with him, with A.J. Brown, but also Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith. Everything was clicking well, especially in the passing game. In that win, by the way, where they got back on track on the road, why put out anything that could be skewed as negative, especially whenever it is anything that comes out with A.J. Brown, whether it's hacked or not? People always assume the negative with him. This is another hit in the wrong direction after people coming off a high of that win in Minnesota.
It's unnecessary.
Totally unnecessary.
Attention grabbing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's continuing a storyline that they claim they don't want to be a storyline. Now, can we get a psychologist on the program or a therapist to explain to me what it means? I don't know what it means.
I have it. It's a phrase that means something to the situation where someone feels like they're being taken advantage of in a way that is inconsistent or doesn't align with their expectations for a balanced relationship. So I'm taking this as this may not be directed at Jalen Hurts. This could be directed at the organization.
Okay.
Because I think everything, to your point, Mark, whenever this stuff comes out, everybody assumes the worst, and they kind of assume that this means he and Jalen, hate each other.
Yeah, they must have had another run into the parking lot.
Yeah. Let me say this right out of the gate. This pisses me off twofold. One, for the obvious, just to air it out without really airing it out, and then it pisses me off. Yeah, and then it pisses me off on the other side of it. Because people who will defend A.J. Brown blindly, like he'll do no wrong. And I am on record. I love A.J. Brown. I think he's extremely talented. I love a lot of things about him. But this is the stuff that is indefensible. So what pisses me off is people will then come at us saying, well, leave A.J. Brown alone. Like, no. You can't light something on fire and then bitch about the smoke, okay?
Yeah. Right.
So for me, that's what pisses me off so much about this, because I want A.J. Brown to be here for a long time. I want him to continue to help this team win football games. He's extremely talented. He should be targeted. He should get the football. But this is the stuff that is so easily avoidable that he brings on himself. Okay, I wanted to come on here today and talk about Brandon Graham and how great that is, and we will talk about that. But when A.J. Brown puts this out there, during such an obvious time to not put anything cryptic out there, it just, gentlemen, it pisses me off to no end.
Okay, but how much does it piss you off? Enough to say this is too much as Harry would say, baggage for me to handle? I'm willing to accept a certain amount of like with women. I always say this with a woman. You're allowed to bring one bag on the plane.
Well, some can bring two.
It depends on how hot they are.
Some can bring two.
But
I always bring two.
A lot of women try to sneak an extra bag on the plane without telling you.
Right.
Then you get this other set of baggage. Now you don't know what to do with it.
Some can bring two and a backpack.
Yeah. It's one of those ones you pull on the thing.
Right.
She's what we call a 10.
Yes. And I'm willing to accept that he's not going to be the most quiet or politically correct teammate, and he's going to do things like the book on the sideline. Like,
it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. Yeah, it's worth it because I think he's that great.
Yeah.
But where is that boiling point or line of demarcation or the tipping point where you go, the juice is not worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
When you do that after a perfect passing day where he had a $183 and 2 touchdowns.
Well, if you remember, and I know you both do, after he scored the first touchdown, when Flores inexcusably rushed only 3 guys and dropped 8, and AJ's running around there. He finally gets caught on with a linebacker, and Jalen's like, "Oh, I got all day. Here you go, touchdown."
Yeah.
He ran into the end zone and threw the ball at the padded wall between the field and the stadium and said, "You see what happens when I get the ball," or something like that. Like he was angry from the get-go.
Yeah. And I'm good with that. That's a great motivational tool. Make them angry. Make them play angry. I love guys when they play angry.
Yeah, but why say something that people have to read between the lines? Like to me, that's cowardice.
Yeah,
if you have something to say,
more Nathan R. Jessup, am I clear?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Be very clear what your intent is and what you're saying. Don't leave it up for interpretation, because based on how your day's going, Mark, or your day's going, Harry, my interpretation. It's why I say don't have conversations that mean something over text, because we don't know tone. We don't know intent.
Oh yeah. And my wife always tells me about my tone.
Yeah. No, but you don't know, because I'm basing your tone off of how I feel, not how you intended it.
Right.
So sometimes you have
that's what I say all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's your excuse.
Yes.
Because your tone does tend to be very cutting.
I feel like
it can be.
I feel like we're opening up some side cans of worms here with you gentlemen today when it comes to the ladies.
Well, you'll ask Harry like a simple question, like, "Why is it so nice out today?" And he'll go, "Why?" You're like, "What?"
Yeah. Now we have a comment right out of the gate on this.
Okay, let's party. What do we got?
Bring it up there. Daniel says
non-issue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Daniel's son says
good. I hope it is a non-issue. Yeah. Daniel Fraser.
Well, right now it is, because they won.
And winning's the deodorant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then what also happens is if things start to hit the fan, this is just the latest brick in the wall being built in order to either ice out AJ or eventually just say, this is, to your point, Jason, this is too much. Like, dude, come on. We just won. You just had a great game. You just had 2 touchdowns. We're going up against the Giants, and everyone's feeling pretty good about a revenge game there. Then we got the bye week before another rough patch ahead of us.
Green Bay, Detroit, Dallas. Yep.
Yeah, that's not easy.
The surprising thing for me, and you brought up Kelsey, and we're going to talk about Brandon Graham, is, we hear in sports all the time that one thing players hate is when stuff comes out of the locker room and ends up in the media.
Well, the coaches hate that.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
They all that's a sanctuary place. What happens in there should stay in there, should be resolved in there. And he's putting things out there outside the locker room purposely, and we get reports of stuff coming out of the locker room because of the drama.
Right.
And it's hard to win in pro sports. Drama doesn't help. It just doesn't. I'm not saying they're fighting a civil war inside there, so it's hard to win the war. But what I'm saying is when there's so much noise around a team, it's usually not a great thing.
Yeah. I remember when Antonio Brown posted the video from inside the locker room on his phone on social media. Remember that? That was like one of the last straws for Tomlin with AB with the Steelers.
Yeah, he was bananas.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that big violation. I'm gonna put it like this, and I'm gonna stick with the wife girlfriend story here. I'll stick with the ladies, okay? Mm-hmm. I'll relate it to you guys today. You walk into a room. There's your buddy and a girl. Your buddy's married, and the girl walks out, and he says to you, "Hey, just so you know, nothing happened." And you're like, "What? What?" Like I wasn't even gonna.
I assumed that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But now I think. But what's the first thing you're gonna think?
Why are you defending it?
Right.
Yeah. So, why are you even opening my mind to the?
Yeah. Why did you just put that thought in my head? Now,
if you're telling me that nothing happened, something really happened.
Yeah.
Right, Jason?
Yeah. Write it down. It's going to be in the book. It's a Harryism.
Harryisms. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a Harry. Well, Harry and I were at a meeting one time, and the boss told us, "You got to trust me. I know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
So we walk out of the meeting, and 2 steps down the hallway, Harry just stops the saunter and looks at me and goes, "If you have to tell me you know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing."
I look forward.
And then
the
saunter continued down the hall.
Classic.
Phrased by Mays.
I stood there stunned. I thought Socrates just left me.
Socrates. Yeah.
Socrates.
Socrates. Yeah.
Socrates. I don't like this whole thing. I don't like this whole thing with AJ.
It's just unnecessary, like Jason said.
It's so unnecessary.
We're coming off a win. He got a couple of touchdowns. Jalen had the perfect rating. Now BG's coming back to help him at a position of need. It's like all this stuff is good. Like, we don't need to roll this in here. And to tell us to avoid it is you're not doing your job.
No.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right?
But
the media should catch no flack for discussing this.
No.
Absolutely.
None. This is not manufactured.
Here's something that I don't understand, and I don't really get this as much from media as I've seen it from fans in comment sections online and all that stuff, in social media. Is there a negative? And I'll put this out there because I don't see any negative. Is there a negative to Brandon Graham coming back? Am I missing something here?
No,
is there
I don't
a problem?
I don't think there's a negative. I said when I was asked about it on the Fanatic yesterday, I just said I get the feeling that this is great, but it probably ends badly because old guys get hurt.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing.
He got hurt last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's what is he 37, something like
37.
that?
Yeah, as you get older, you don't get hurt less.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That we know, right? And you ended on such a great note. You came back. You won a second Super Bowl. You played the entirety of your career with incredible class and dignity, and a smile on your face.
Right, but to me, this won't tarnish that. No matter what happens,
it won't. But it was the perfect ending. Why mess with the perfect ending?
Well, they need somebody. They're in dire need of help at that position.
Is he the best answer for that question, though? Or is this also a consideration of the locker room?
Well, it would help the locker room immensely. I guarantee you that.
Can a guy just returning help the locker room immensely, though, at this point in the season? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Does he walk into the same leadership void that he was before he left? Can you just reassume that role with a new group? I mean,
well, if you can play,
different dynamic. Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard to lead when you can't play. Like if he can play and legitimately comes in and is in shape enough to play, I think he can.
Yeah, well,
I think he has that gravitas.
Yeah. If you're active, if you're inactive, you can't be a leader. It's hard.
Right.
He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's had
an Eagle Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's had a lot. He's third on the Eagles all-time list. He's 3.5 sacks shy of 80 in his career.
Is that right? Is that third on the list?
That's third on the list right now. So he's probably not going to catch Trent Cole, I think it is. I think Trent Cole is number 2 on the list behind that Reggie White fellow who was pretty good.
Yeah.
He didn't even play here his full career.
Yeah, he just passed Clyde Simmons, so he's an opportunity maybe in however long he's back to get to 80. Again, he only needs 3.5 sacks to do it, but we'll see what role he's in this year when he comes back and all that. But I'll say this. I think judging on how the players reacted in the locker room after they won against Minnesota, and they were getting the question about BG coming back, like Nakobe Dean was my favorite. Nakobe Dean was like, oh, like he was like, oh, dang, like he was just learning for the first time that BG be coming back, and he was just flat out excited. Jalix Hunt seems pretty excited about it as well. I don't look at Brandon Graham coming back. Like, I think obviously, yes, to answer your question, Jason, yes, I think he absolutely can come in and be that leader right from jump, no problem. It's a matter of whether or not he can stay healthy enough. That's a bigger issue to stay out there on the football field to continue to be the leader while still playing. The issue for me with BG is this absolutely helps the team. You don't have you have one sack by an edge rusher who's still on the team. Zadarius Smith's no longer here. He's gone.
Yeah.
Josh Uche has your only other sack. Your defensive end position, your edge rusher position is a pile of dog crap right now. Okay. You're not getting
Vic Fangio's blitzing.
Yeah.
That tells you how bad it is.
Right. Yeah. Right. So he's not going to be a savior. I want to stress that, but he is certainly going to be a helper in all of this, considering he can't get much worse. You don't even have an edge rusher. By the way, Azeez Ojulari also hurt now.
He's hurt.
So you're talking about a position on the Eagles where they don't have anyone ranked for a defense that's not supposed to blitz. They don't have anyone ranked in the top 20 of edge rushers in the NFL in terms of win rate. And we all know the sacks speak for themselves as well. But just to dive into the weeds a little bit more, nobody is even ranked in the top 20 in win rate at the edge position for the Eagles. You can't have that. I'm not saying Brandon Graham's going to be like 10th in the league or anything like that, but he's certainly better than what you got. That's for damn sure.
Well, here's the thing that people don't consider too. Like we don't think about this immediately when you think about, okay, he's coming back and the personality and everything. They've obviously worked him out. He's obviously stayed in shape, and they've worked him out, and they've decided physically he can contribute, because they're not going to just make the signing assuming he's been sitting on his couch in retirement eating yodels.
Well, Fangio stayed in touch with him the whole time.
Yeah,
and he never wanted him to retire,
and he signed off on it.
Yeah.
So this isn't Howie going just saying, I'm the GM, I'm re-signing this guy. No, there's a lot that goes into this. Of working him out, looking at getting sign off from Fangio. Can he help? How can he help? Because I can look elsewhere too. They have these conversations every day. A GM and coaching staff, they talk multiple times a day in pro sports, by the way. We see a lot of people don't realize the communication level that they have.
About personnel.
About exactly these things. So this has been vetted to a very high degree, which is good, obviously. And he passed the vetting.
Yeah, I don't think BG would be coming back to play for any other team.
No,
you know what I mean? Like I just think this is the
Denver calls him Harry.
This is the opportunity, and I don't think that the Eagles would necessarily be calling him if they didn't have a need. It's not. It's just everything matched up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you there. Before we take our first break, I want to get Sam in here because he's also calling us ladies now for bitching the AJ Brown thing when we don't understand it. Yeah, that's the problem. If we understood it, it wouldn't be that much of a problem. If he, came out and said what he wanted to say instead of being cryptic, that's the problem.
Yeah, I'm not being a lady, but I'm just questioning why. Why do it?
First off, I'm not even offended you want to call me a lady. I find women to be awesome.
We know what the phrase meant. We just don't know who it was directed towards.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's the ambiguous part of it. That's the ambiguous part.
And then
we come back a little bit. Go ahead.
The TikTok video was like, I'm built different. Well, that was the message of that. Like, he's speaking through this trainer guy about himself. Like, look, MFer, I'm built different. It's
no kidding. I have a mirror. I see that.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, Mark.
No, all good. All good. By the way, player of the week, Philadelphia Eagles.
Devontae Smith or Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts.
It's got to be Jalen Hurts, yeah.
Jalen Hurts
Devontae was terrific too, man. My goodness.
Well, I mean, he called his own number.
Yeah.
He called his own. By the way, more on that in a second because Kevin Petulo actually had me laughing yesterday during his press conference. Okay. We'll get to that a little bit later. This is the Locked On Eagles Squad show on the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. When we come back, we'll ask you if the Eagles are back on track and also give you a couple recent pieces of information for your Philadelphia Eagles going forward. Talk about all that and more in this edition of Locked On Eagles Squad show. And right now, let me tell you about the amazing people at FanDuel. How fantastic is FanDuel? FanDuel's incredible. You can always have yourself a good time on FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet a $5 bet. Put down a $5 bet, and if it hits, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app on the FanDuel app. FanDuel makes every game day that much more exciting. I love how FanDuel gives you so many ways to play when you're talking about building parlays, player props, even following all the live lines as all the action unfolds in front of your very eyes. Whether you're a casual fan or whether or not you love digging deep into the statistics, FanDuel makes that game day experience so much better. And I love watching football and following FanDuel for all their offerings. So what are you waiting for? Head over to FanDuel.com to download the app and get started. That's FanDuel.com, where new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets to use across the FanDuel app when you download the FanDuel app at FanDuel.com. So head over to FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. That's FanDuel at FanDuel.com. And there we go. First, a couple of news and notes here. Real quick, Ja'Cory Bennett, they've opened up the practice window on Ja'Cory Bennett. Also, the Eagles have re-signed interior offensive lineman Sua Opeta back to the Eagles. Guard, obviously, more than not there. He'd been here for a long time. He's back. He's been up and down with the Eagles really throughout the last, 7 years it's been. I'm going to say the Eagles need as much offensive line help as possible, and bring in a guy in who's already
Watkins
familiar with a lot of the other guys. I'm good.
Where's Danny
I think
Watkins?
He's fighting fires
in
I think he's fighting Texas. I think he's fighting fires in Texas, last I saw.
And playing beer league hockey.
Well, if Sua Opeta is not the answer, what do? They call Jason Kelce?
This is a couple of years post-retirement now for Kelce, and we know we see him.
He might have too many gigs to give up.
Farzetta did a gig with him, and he's like shotgunning beers. And
I know,
but he did that when he played.
He did that when he played anyway.
Yeah, like literally while he was playing, he had a beer.
Yeah,
no.
He goes to the sideline into a funnel with a fan.
It's Gatorade. It's fine. I know he dropped a bunch of weight. Jason Kelce. He did just do a workout. I just saw that he did it. I didn't see the results of it. Where it's like, let's see if I'm still in game shape. And he's at the NovaCare complex like a week ago, trying to go through it. I don't know how he did.
Yeah. It was probably for Barstool or something. It had to be for something.
It's probably for New Heights podcast.
Oh, there it is.
But look, I think they need all the help they can get. And let me ask you gentlemen this question, because I can't remember a time where I saw this. Harry, I'm seeing an Eagles offensive line that is holding their own, at least. I'll give him that compliment when it comes to the passing game. Like, there's been moments where Jalen Hurts has had time and delivered the ball. They're serviceable and a little bit above when it comes to the passing game.
Run game.
Non-existent in the run game.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
That is mind-blowing to me. I thought all the offensive linemen I talked to, the vast majority are all about, you got to run that football, man. Got to do the thud and done. Is how a couple
because they're the instigator. They're not in a passive motion. They're moving forward, not backward.
But it's not the case this year.
No.
It's not the case. It's so much more difficult to run block. I can't remember a time where I've seen that before, especially with the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, I did see these guys that break down the film, and I know you watched the film, the 22, and
I'll say this though. For offensive assignments like that, that's stuff that I rely on player. I'm not that guy. Like, I need former players to break that part of it down. You want me to tell me whether that quarterback had a better option? I can tell you that. But that sort of technical stuff is
a Baldy breakdown.
But the one I saw, wasn't Baldy, but Baldy does a terrific job. And I don't know if anybody's any better than him. This wasn't Baldy though. But what they were trying to show, they showed two different run plays against the Vikings, and they showed it where the Eagles had this wide receiver bunch set that was kind of near the line of near the tackle. They weren't out to the side. They were. It was a close tight formation, and then they ran a motion and then ran Saquon to that side, got a couple of yards. They do the bunch formation, the same thing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, on the right side. Ran the little motion just like they did before. Ran Saquon to the right side. Minnesota read it, stuffed Saquon for a 3 or 4 yard loss. And it was just like they're sort of mirroring. They're doing like mirror formations of the same play, and the defense can pick it up. Like that's something that has really handicapped them. Yeah, there's been a lot of tackles for loss in the run game.
Yeah, tipping your hand offensively, becoming too predictable is great for a defense. And you're right. There's been so many runs that have either been tackle for short loss or tackle for a 1 or 2 yard gain. It's amazing, and especially in the middle of the line, because last year we saw he would run through aircraft carriers size holes into the second level and then just get away. And
Dickerson's banged up. I know he played, but he is banged up. Juergens, we know now, is out. He was banged up prior to that. And, Steen was sort of like the fifth offensive lineman to begin with out of the five. Yeah. When all are healthy, right? So the middle of that line, you put Toth in there,
this next man up thing's baloney. The next man up is not the man. And we're seeing it firsthand.
Yeah. It's now next. There's
a reason this guy's not the starter, like Toth. Right. There's a reason when that happens. They're not as good.
Yeah. And I do wonder, I think I've asked you guys this before, but this is a world we're not familiar with. We're not used to how the money is allotted. A lot of money on a running back. A lot of money on a linebacker.
Yeah.
On your linebacker. And now it's like, is this? And now we don't see the Eagles having, a really good third option there at corner outside of Quenyon and Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
We see Drew Makuba, a startup there at safety. We're used to seeing that position pretty locked down well for the Eagles.
Right.
Is this the fallout of that where they don't have that much money to spend on decent backups? They went out and they got Fred Johnson to come back. They should have never let him go to begin with.
Right.
They didn't re-up with Mekhi Becton, so now Tyler Steen's in there, and there has been a drop-off. But, yeah, to your point, Harry, I think
they haven't drafted offensive line either.
No.
Well, they drafted Drew Kendall
in the fifth round.
But he was scratched.
Yeah.
He hasn't been healthy. I'm sorry. He hasn't been playing.
That's going to be interesting, though, this week to see what they do at center. Do they use this week to coach up Kendall and get him ready? Because if not, then that tells you everything that they know, that they think about him up until this point. Like, they can't get him ready. Stoutland University can't get him ready.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is when you're not drafting guys in the first, second, or even third round, then it's a lottery ticket.
Well, they're going to have to they're doing that this year.
Yeah, you got to recycle it because you get those guys on rookie deals, so you're paying them less money, and the way the money is allotted right now, it's tough. They got to replenish that room, that pipeline for the offensive line, because all of a sudden it's become thin. When before it was just an absolute luxury that you could throw anybody in there and you'd be in good shape.
Yep.
And that's not the case right now. And we know how consequential it is.
I know we were kind of excited about that Drew Kendall pick, as being one of these guys that, they could work in as a swing guard / center guy, whatnot. And he has, not played well enough to get on the field. And the same on the defensive side with a guy that I liked coming out of Nebraska, Ty Robinson. They haven't been able to get anything out of him.
Yeah, very, very limited in that regard.
But again, this happens after you win a Super Bowl. You're going to get picked apart a little bit.
Oh,
You're going to be thinner. It's just
Drew
part
Kendall's
of it.
played in one game.
Okay.
No offensive snaps, 3 special team snaps.
Gotcha.
That's what he's done so far this year.
All right.
And I think Ty Robinson might be a little bit more than that on his rookie campaign there for the Eagles.
Certainly not a lot.
No.
Yeah.
No. He has played 28 defensive snaps over 5 games.
Yeah. And how many of those were in the game where Jalen Carter got thrown out?
Yeah, right out of the gate. Week 1.
That might have been that game.
Yeah. He goes into that rotation.
It could have been.
If he was active for that game. I don't think he was active for that game.
Oh, he wasn't? Okay.
The thing is if you're going to allocate the dollars, which they clearly have done to Saquon, you have to be able to maximize the dollars. So by maximizing dollars, you have to have the offensive line to be able to use them correctly. So it's like you got to – I mean, if you're going to have this running back that can do the – be sensational, he still has to have a line to block for him because you can't do it by yourself. We've seen guys over the years, great running backs, not have a lot of success because the offensive line in front of them is not good enough.
Well, Saquon was one of them with the Giants for many years.
Giants.
Yeah.
Which is when you came last year, why you saw what you saw.
Ty Robinson, 19 snaps against the Giants in the game Jalen Carter flat out missed.
Okay.
So they activated him after Jalen Carter was out.
Because he was injured.
Yeah, because he was injured. He had the heel injury.
Right.
Which also let the shoulder heal.
Right, yeah. Yeah, he said that at his locker. It's like, the week off. He's like, I know everyone's talking about a mini bye. He's like, I had more than that. I had a max bye, basically, because he missed the game, so he was out fully 10 days, excuse me. Let me ask this question. I know this is a common one, but it's the simplest one. Do you think that this was the get-right game? Do you think that what the Giants game was supposed to be, do you think that's actually what the Vikings game was, where they got on the same page? Devontae Smith came out after the game and said everyone was on the same page. It was great. We were seeing the signals from Jalen Hurts. This was it. Do you think this was the get-right game that the Eagles needed so we see them play 3 to 4 quarters a game as opposed to just 2 quarters a game as we were in the very early portions of the season?
Well, I don't.
It was for the quarterback, but
Okay.
I don't think it was for the offense because they still can't run the football.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And there's still too much predictability at times. He made the big play. I mean, you think about some of the big throws that he made in that game and the big plays, and the defense still had to come up with some really big plays. I mean, Minnesota goes 1 for 6 in the red zone. They should not have won the game. if there was a competent quarterback on the other side and not a guy with 2 left feet like Carson Wentz with those awful mechanics.
Boy, watching him, I know, and we might get to this later, maybe, Mark, but watching him, didn't that bring back some bad memories of just the mechanics, the bad mechanics, and the freaking out under pressure and just trying to do something really stupid?
Hero ball.
Oh my God!
It makes me question myself and how I was such a firm believer in him.
I know. Well, I think Anthony really influenced all of us back then at the Fanatic because he was in love with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a very impressive rookie campaign, but the thing that was always in the back of my mind, or I should say first full year as a starter with Lane Johnson there, where he was like the MVP for the season up until he got hurt. You know what I always questioned about Carson Wentz?
What's that?
So this guy is supposed to be some kind of brain trust. Right? He never got a B on a test, all that stuff. I'll never forget looking over his North Dakota State stuff and going, wait a minute, this guy's supposed to be the guy? And in like 10 games without him or 8 games without him, his team still was undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is just like
that team was a wagon. They were a wagon back then.
Not a Wentz wagon.
Not a Wentz wagon.
I just remember thinking like, oh, well, I thought it would be him carrying the team if he was so great. But evidently not. That team was pretty damn good.
Yeah. They were.
And then unfortunately the mental wherewithal eluded him while he was here in Philadelphia with I don't want to do any of that quote Foles stuff. So anyway, but yeah, Harry, to your point. Yeah, Harry, to your point, I was definitely watching him and going, not my problem anymore.
Yeah. Boy, I remember
somebody
that.
else's problem.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while Jalen's balling out, that certainly helps the process as well.
Right.
But I agree with what you said, Harry, when it comes to this offense or this team as far as being back or not. Look, I think Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback. I've said it many times. There's one guy I take over him, and that guy's name is Patrick Mahomes. So I grade Jalen Hurts at that level. I know I'm pretty alone up here, and I think a lot of people treat Jalen Hurts like he's some kind of project. Like that's why I was so hard on him after the Giants game, because he's a lot better than what we saw in the Giants game. And there were plays in the Giants game where the offensive line broke down, and Jalen Hurts, being a phenomenal athlete, has the ability to get out of that pocket, space to get out of that pocket, buy time for his receivers. He didn't do that in the Giants game. This game, he did it. And there's no better example at the 3rd and 13 to A.J. Brown, where A.J. makes the great play on the sidelines. Jalen keeps it. He gets out of the pocket. He gets out of the pressure, keeps his eyes downfield, hits A.J. Brown on a throw that only he could catch.
That's my play of the game.
Yeah.
That was my play
is it
of the
really?
game. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the 3rd and 13, where they're at their own 27, 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Minnesota, or the kicker had just missed the field goal. Elliott, 42-yarder on the possession before. It's 21-19, I believe, at that point. Minnesota's catching a little fire in the second half, and it's 3rd and 13. You punt that ball there, they don't get the first down. We could be talking about a totally different result. But Jalen made the play with pressure in his face, like you said. He got around to the right side, and AJ comes back to the ball, and he's right there at the marker and caught it. And 3 plays later, I think they were in the end zone. They made another big play to Devontae, and then he found AJ for the touchdown. Yeah, I thought that was the game.
Maybe the play that mattered the most.
Yeah, Devontae was middle of the field for 21 yards, I want to say.
Off play action.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, how great was play action?
Under center.
Well, you're playing under center for the first time all year, Kevin Petulo. You can do that,
It's KP now. It's KP.
KP.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, I do got to tell you what made me laugh from Kevin Petulo, and also whether or not the passing game is now the Eagles' identity, given the ineptness of the run game. We'll talk about that and more when we return. We got a special announcement from our sponsor, Peloton, coming up here on Locked On Eagles Squad Show.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go, while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
We're back.
And we're doing a show. How's everybody feeling? All right.
Yeah. We came back in the same order.
Thank you. One thing about Kevin Petulo did make me laugh. So the story was that Devontae Smith went into the locker room during halftime and was like, hey, that play action's open. I got that route on Isaiah Rodgers. I'm turning him around. We can make it happen. Bing, bang, boom. They come out. They make it happen. So in that
79-yarder. The
79-yard touchdown. Yep. Exactly.
My play of the game.
Okay, that's your play of the game. Okay.
Yeah.
So Devontae Smith essentially called the play, and one of the things that Kevin Petulo was asked about, and I think most people would assume he'd get this question, is what's that communication like in the locker room when a player says that they got to play? And he says, well, one of the things you always got to keep in mind is no player ever comes into the locker room saying, hey, I got a play that'll make that guy look great. Like, it's never for somebody else. It's always for them. So you always have to take it with a grain of salt and be like, okay, all right, is it really there? Whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure AJ has a lot of plays.
Yeah, AJ draws up plays for Devontae Smith all the time.
Yeah, right.
But I thought that was funny. So I literally started laughing when KP was talking about that. KP. And then they actually went out there and they did it. But if you go back and you watch that play, you can talk about all the under center they did. They threw the ball 4 times out of play action in that game, and they got 130 yards out of that. That play in particular, if you're teaching play action to a group of young kids, that's the play. Because everything was perfect on that one. You started off with what goes on right there at the line of scrimmage. Number one, the only negative of that was that Brett Toth was getting beat. But Saquon Barkley gets the ball pulled from his gut by Jalen Hurts, goes up, helps out, seal off that block. Jalen takes a little step to the left. Meanwhile, in the route, Devontae Smith is breaking out on Isaiah Rodgers, cuts to the outside, turns Rodgers around while he's on spin cycle. Smitty cuts back to the middle of the field, towards the hashtag, towards the hash marks, and a gentleman perfect throw from Jalen Hurts. Didn't break stride, didn't have to slow down, didn't have to lay out. Just picturesque, man, into his hands for the touchdown.
Yeah,
that play was perfect.
Now, when you watched that, could you see that it had an effect on the linebackers for Minnesota, the play action?
Because they were coming up.
So linebackers not so much, but safeties who are looking in the backfield,
freeze them for a second.
Yeah, it makes you look back. Look, I never played safety at the NFL level. I'll just say that. But when you're a safety, you're looking in the backfield to see, you're trying to read what the quarterback is doing so you get a beat on it and all that stuff, open up to the side that he's opening up to. Play action, you definitely got to take that down beat. But for a play like that, Smitty was just off and running. And it
was a great route.
Phenomenal route. You could tell that they could run that play blindfolded in practice, you know?
Yeah.
But it really was. It was perfect. But to your point, Jason, that was your play of the game?
Yeah, that's my play of the game just because of it stretches the field so much, and it's out of play action. And it's weird because the run was not successful. Usually play action is most effective when you have effectiveness running the football, and they have to cheat to stop the run because you're running at will on them. That wasn't the case, but still the threat of Barkley and the fact that pre-snap they showed a running formation. So they really kind of they've been tipped off a couple times to the run. They feel like a run's coming here, and then they pull it out of his belly, and he goes back. And just all the credit to Devontae, because as soon as he got Isaiah Rodgers' hips turned, he knew. He knew. And he's just in stride and perfect throw. Football is a beautiful game when executed beautifully. Like, that's a beautiful play because the throw is so perfect. It's
hear the NFL Films music?
Yeah, there's no stutter in the stride to slow down to wait for it or have to speed up. It's right just in perfect synchronicity.
Oh, beautiful.
As Sting once sang on Synchronicity album, Harry. Yeah. I mean, just absolutely beautiful play, stem to stern. And to me, stretching the field like that is a big reason why you can make some of those 13-yard catches later, because you stretch the field and you pull them out a little bit. When you thin the defense, you can go underneath a little bit easier because of the home run threat. It's what Deshaun provided, right? When Deshaun, you always had to worry about the bomb when Deshaun Jackson played. And because of that, that would stretch a defense, and you could go underneath a lot more to guys like Ertz and stuff like that. You have to have that deep threat, and he showed it there. I mean, that was just an absolutely beautiful play. I'd like to see more of that, please.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, they ran four play action passes in the game. They got about 130 yards out of that. That was one of them. 79 yards, obviously a big chunk of that. But they got another 20-yard play out of that to Devontae Smith, middle of the field. They had another one, Devontae Smith, another one over the middle of the field where Jalen Hurts absolutely ate it. Just stood there in the pocket. That was another Fred Johnson, max protect type of situation there, Jason, that you were referencing in terms of really looking like they were going to run, selling a run big time out, even away from just a play action, selling the run in terms of formation and personnel. Well, this is one where it looked like Fred Johnson and Lane Johnson got crossed up, and the edge rusher came alive inside on Jalen and just buried him. And Jalen stood in there and put a strike on Devontae Smith. That was the one where they threw the flag for targeting, I think it was. And also it was a miracle how Devontae Smith still caught that ball, because the targeting was really on his arm as he was making the catch, and he still corralled that football. That was
strong hands.
That was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
It really does for skinny Batman? Hell yeah.
Yeah. We think A.J. Brown is that 50-50 guy, right? You can go up and battle for a ball, but Devontae Smith is, I mean, because he's so slight.
Right.
It almost defies like football logic because he's so light and his build, but
he's getting better
in tough areas. He's really getting better. Yeah, he's a hell of a player.
He's expanded his game pretty significantly since being drafted.
Yeah, I mean, does that affect your calculus on how you move forward? Maybe this is a question for the offseason, how you move forward with A.J. Brown. This is something you have to, because you got to have a number one wide receiver, right?
Yep.
It's there's a couple things you need to have in football, and if you don't have them, you're looking for them.
The Eagles have two.
Yeah, and they have two.
Yeah.
I'll say this. The thing with me that I always default to after everything with A.J. Brown, whatever comes out, whatever happens, this is a team that does have the tough conversations. And they don't have tough conversations that end with blow-ups. They have tough conversations that end with solutions. If they could do that and win a Super Bowl, which they've done, then that makes me feel a lot better about this avoiding any kind of T.O. McNabb ultimate blow-up. So I will say that.
Can you imagine if T.O. had Instagram and TikTok?
Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness. Back in 04, 05. Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That would not have been. And I think about that all the time with former athletes, because some of them are cement, like
Iverson.
Pete Rose would have been an idiot on it, you know?
Yeah. Dykstra.
Oh, yeah. Well, he is an idiot on it now.
Well, but when he was playing.
His prime.
Yeah.
No, I would say, if you were going to say you could watch one person's feed from back in the day, this is the ultimate. Who would you watch in their prime? Like, forget about Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah. I want to see Allen Iverson on Instagram. Okay. Right. I want to see AJ, T.O. on Instagram, whatever. Who, if you had to pick one person.
Well, Wilt would have been on Fans Only or whatever.
Yeah, Wilt would have been in OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Is that what it is, Harry?
Yeah, it's OnlyFans. Yeah.
And
hey, guys, he wouldn't have done Conan the Barbarian. He would have done OnlyFans in the offseason. Hey, watch how my roof opens up in the bedroom. Check it out. Yeah. Which it did, factually speaking. I know. I wasn't making for the kids that don't know. Now you know.
Yep.
Anyway, so football. The passing game, is that the identity of the Philadelphia Eagles now? Is that what they got to do going forward?
Well, I think by default, until you get the running game going, if it ever gets going. And I think it will. I think after this bye week, I think a lot of these guys are going to feel a whole lot better, physically.
Dickerson.
Yeah, and, I don't know what's up with Juergens. Is it a knee? How bad is it? But I think they'll eventually get that going, and I think they have to get it going because that has to be a significant portion of what they do offensively. I like this identity, but I don't think it's sustainable week to week to week without a run game to be able to win the amount of games they need to win to, get home field.
Sirianni today saying that the knee is something they're just going to have to monitor throughout the week and see if Cam Jurgens can go on Sunday.
I don't think there's any reason to play him.
Yeah, I think
with the bye week. With the bye week.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let it fully heal with the extra week. Is they going to be a passing game and their identity? That's TBD. We just don't know because the bye week, when it's coming and what they come out of it, is going to be the biggest question. If they can come back and become a running team, and I'm not saying they need to be able to run the ball like they did last year because that was historic. You know that.
Yeah.
But they need to be able to run the ball more effectively than they have this year.
And
that'll make that play action even more impactful.
He doesn't have a 100-yard game yet.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
The Eagles in this game, gentlemen, they drop below 90 yards per game.
Yeah.
On the ground with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Mind-blowing.
And one.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And one.
Yeah,
right. Well, they're
5-2.
Yeah. It's amazing. What? That's not supposed to be like that.
See, that's the crazy thing because I think there's almost like rage about this Eagles team that's 5-2 and they just keep winning in the conference and everything and good on the road and all of that. But after last year and seeing what was so almost perfect after the first 4 games, you almost want to hold them to that standard of perfection. And the side-by-side comparison is not the same. It's a different year. It's a different season. Maybe this year, after the bye week, they peak and they can become closer to that team last year. I don't think they'll ever be that team they were last year. That was a generational team. But it doesn't mean you still can't win. Yeah. You can still win. But, the running game in the second half of the season is going to be paramount as the weather gets colder and wind becomes more of a factor. For all of those reasons, they need to get that running game on track. And a big part of that, I don't think it's as big on Saquon Barkley. I don't think he's DeMarco Murray shot, but it's offensive line health, being able to block it up.
Do you know Hurts' passer rating is the highest in Eagles history through 7 games? Eagles history. It's 108.9. And the previous high was Wentz back when he was going great in 2018. He was 108.1.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That's from Bleeding Green Nation. I got that. That's Rube's stats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rube. Big Rube.
That's why I think the Eagles need to do something that I know a lot of people won't like, but I don't think they have any other choice. We'll talk about that when we return. This is Locked On Eagles Squad Show on the Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Like and subscribe.
All righty, let me tell you about Gametime. It's not Gametime right now. Not today. We got that this weekend coming up on Sunday. But it is Gametime all the time on the Gametime app. NFL season is obviously back in full swing. And honestly, there is nothing better than being in the stadium, surrounded by fans, cheering on your team. Everything looks different, smells, you got it all. Getting tickets can be quite a hassle. So between queues and login screens, prices jumping at checkout, service, it's all very frustrating and a little too complicated, making it sometimes seem like it's not worth going and being there. That's why you use Gametime, the app that gives you the advantage, and it gives the advantage back to the fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee, where you'll always get a 100% authentic ticket delivered on time and at the best price, plus all fees are included. So the price you see, that's going to be the same price you pay. You're going to all of a sudden be surprised and go, oh, there's this handling fee of whatever. You're not going to see that with Gametime. You can pull up the Gametime app, see what you want to go to. Boom, make a late decision. You can get in on it right away. The app made it super simple. You can even see the exact view from the seat before you buy it, so you know your angles. You got to love the deals as well. Pick the section. Gametime picks the seats, and you save big. And it is faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way to buy tickets. So do yourself a favor. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL, LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today.
There we go. All right. I know last year it was easy to say and make the joke about, wow, the Eagles have abandoned the passing game, which had never happened before ever in Eagles history, with how great Saquon was behind this offensive line. But now, gentlemen, I do think for this game against the Giants, they got to start abandoning the run game. It ain't there. And if they're not going to get Saquon Barkley out in space, then there's just no point of doing this. And for the last 2 games now, we've seen him open strong with a couple of big runs out of the gate, and then they get away from it, not just giving him the ball, but giving him the ball in space.
Mm-hmm.
I think I am going to do something I've never said this. I've always hated it, and it goes back to Andy Reid being the head coach of the Eagles. I hated it when Andy Reid was throwing the ball 65% of the time, and then you'd say, why didn't you run it? And he was like, well, we ran a screen pass. That's like a run. And I'm like, but it's not. Okay? That always – I hated it. I didn't want it to be like a run. I wanted a run.
Right.
But Saquon Barkley, I believe, is still a great football player. And I believe you put the ball in great football players' hands. That's why I don't fault A.J. Brown for wanting the ball. I don't
against his former team.
Right. Give him the ball in space. Let's see that screen game. Let's let a couple of guys that are healthy get off the offensive line and upfield and try to make blocks downfield. Let's run that wheel route again, please, and thank you. Let's put him
Darren Sproles wheel route.
Yes, let's put even the wheel route that we saw there against the Broncos that he scored from 47 yards out. Bunch formation, throw him in there, trips right, whatever it might be, get him in that. Maybe you run it that way with A.J. Brown in front of him and Dallas Goedert in front of him. Maybe you run it that way. This offense has an untapped resource in Saquon Barkley, and if they're not going to be able to do it with a less than healthy, less than stellar offensive line, then you got to figure out another way to get him the ball. And Jason, I think that's one of the things that Kevin Petulo needs to be doing over the next couple of days, and certainly through the bye week and into after the bye week to get Saquon involved.
No doubt, because you want to get the ball to the guys in space that can do something with the ball in space, and Saquon can do that. It's the one thing I wonder the most about Kevin Petulo is the creativity. You would think that the prerequisite of any play caller for the Eagles would be a guy that is creative because of the tools you have at your disposal. You have a quarterback that can use his legs at any time powerfully and can get it into the open field. You have a dynamic running back. You have an offensive line that can get downfield and block as well into the second level. That's maybe not the case now, especially with Juergens. But then you also have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith where you can stretch the field possession, 50-50 balls with A.J. Brown. You have all these different things, but yet it seems very vanilla to me, with the exception of a few plays they ran on the goal line with Dallas Goedert with the shuttle pass and those kind of things. And to mention, you got a tight end that's reliable in Dallas Goedert, yet they don't seem very creative. They seem predictable. They seem repetitive, and they don't seem like they are trying to confuse the defense. So I wonder if that play design aspect is a shortcoming of his abilities as an offensive coordinator, because I am absolutely against his former team going to him early and getting the ball in space, whether it's a chip, stop and get the ball and he can get into the second level. I just got to find a way. And if it's not going to be, as my light goes off for some reason, if it's not going to be from, standard running the ball, it's going to be some other way. They got to figure out a way to do that.
Well, they also have to be more productive on first down. I mean,
definitely,
because when they get in these 3 and outs where they go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, where they did against Minnesota, I think they had a 4-yard run on the first series. The second series, they had a 2-yard pass to Goddard. And on the third series, they started out with a Jordan Mailata holding penalty, which backed them up 10 yards. That kind of stuff is what puts these guys in bad situations. So, and they get bogged down. It took, they had the first drive where they ran the ball pretty well, and then Flores, dropped 8 in coverage. They scored the touchdown. They didn't have a big play until that Devontae Smith 79-yarder in the second half. Like, they did nothing in between. Jalix Hunt scored the touchdown on defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had a situation where they were up 14. They had 14 points on the board after the pick 6, where they get the ball back and because Carson went full Carson, had the backwards pass, and then he had the second down arm punt where he threw it up for grabs for 50 yards or 40 yards, and it comes down in Makuba's hands. They get the ball near midfield. They could have really just put the dagger right in Minnesota right then and there, and they threw a 2-yard pass to Goddard and never got it going, 3 and out, kicked the ball right back to him.
Yeah, so was it totally ineffective?
Yeah.
It was a waste.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we get out of here, Harry, your play of the game was the 3rd and 13.
3rd and 13 to A.J. Brown, for the first down.
And Jason, yours was the 79-yard pass to Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
the bomb.
What's yours?
My play of the game, Harry, came on the same drive that yours did, and that 3rd and 13, I believe, was only their second third down conversion, I think, of the game. Second or third. I know they were 0 for 5 in the first half, and then their first third down conversion was a 3rd and 15. I think that one was also to A.J. Brown.
Two of the worst third down teams in the NFL last week going head-to-head, by the way.
That's right. That's right. I remember you mentioning that on Squad Show last week. But on the 1st and 10, they get back close to the red zone. They're not in the red zone yet. They're on the 26-yard line of the Vikings. And this is why I liked this play so much. It was the icing on the cake. It was the last touchdown the Eagles got, and it was what really put the game more or less out of reach there for the Vikings. I liked everything about this from the play call to the execution, and that's why I think it's my play of the game and the importance of it, obviously. Jalen Hurts dropped back, got to the top of his drop back, took one downbeat, bang, hits A.J. Brown. That throws a second late. That throws a second early. That's an interception. There's 3 Vikings in that vicinity. I wouldn't be as dramatic to say that it was triple coverage, but a bad throw is easily picked off. It was on the money, and he gets his way into the end zone for the final touchdown. That's why I look at that as a play of the game. Because, again, that one put at about 6:35 left in the game.
28-19?
28-19.
Yeah, you made it 28-19.
Yeah. It's a big play. There's a lot of
two-score game with Carson Wentz. You felt pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Last thing on that game, was that a touchdown by Hopkins?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. No. That rule's stupid.
Yeah, if
they need to get rid of that.
Yeah, if you got an HD TV and micro it that much, it's too much.
But to me, he used the ground to control the football. You can't do
that. But you can. Not if you lose control because the ball was moving. But he didn't lose control until after he started rolling over. It bobbled in his hands.
Yeah.
So what? It moved. It never lost possession. It's the dumbest rule ever. It's going to come back to bite the Eagles at some point.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Don't say that. Don't say that, Harry. Don't say that.
It'll happen to A.J. Brown, and then he's going to go on Twitter and Instagram and give some cryptic nonsense.
Save that for your book, a phrase by Mays. Save that for the book, please. This is a free idea.
That book by pretty soon, a couple more years, is going to look like War and Peace. The famous Harry Mays quotes.
Jeez.
Oh, man, Jerry Von Skyver. What's up, buddy? Passing game is there for the taking right now. Teams are selling out to stop the run, not running RPOs with a banged-up offensive line. Surprisingly, the line is pass blocking better this year. I concur with that. Yeah. Gentlemen, I know you guys will have great coverage following the Eagles game going against the New York Giants, 1 o'clock. We all feeling a win? We all feeling a win?
I feel a revenge.
You already took it.
I already took it.
Yeah, I got the revenge win as well.
Yeah. And Locked On Luigi returns next week. How about that?
Oh,
and at the bye,
the
Eagles will be 6-2.
Right.
There you go.
6-2. That's a pretty good first half.
Yep.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe. All things Locked On Sports, including Locked On 76ers as well. That season starts tonight. Thank you very much. And Locked On Eagles for Locked On Eagles squad shows and also daily content provided by Louis DiBiase himself. And you guys got it on the postcast as well here on Locked On Eagles YouTube. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys. You guys will see him Sunday. And then I'll see you guys next week as well, hopefully with Locked On Luigi. So we look forward to that. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye.